engine makers. So we make these huge, ugly looking engines actually, but these engines can do wonders. These typically go for commercial vehicles like the trucks and the buses. And we also make those smaller, cuter looking engines which typically go for power generation, the gensets. These are typically painted green, and you would see the Cummins logo on that. So typically we operate in the automotive domain and in the energy domain. These are the two areas we have been active in. Sure. Okay. Stay. Sure. Okay. Don't worry about that. I can even use the keyboard. Sure.
We do apologize. It seems like we are having some difficulties,
Sorry.
technical
Yeah.
problems.
So what I thought I will focus on today is bringing together the business, the innovation, and the IP strategies, and primarily looking at future growth in this particular domain. So I'll specifically talk about automotive technologies, but I won't bore you with too much of details on the automotive technologies per se. But I would focus more on the frameworks and the processes that we use really to be successful in kind of understanding how the future is going to evolve, and kind of create the right strategy that will actually take us over there, and the role of innovation in IP in doing so. It's right at the heart of this whole business. Okay, so I don't know what's happening here. When we talk about innovation, most of us typically talk about adjacencies, which is taking current technologies to newer markets, which is typically the emerging markets, or taking a new technology to an existing market. So most of the innovation efforts are typically focused on these two domains because you know something about these two spaces and you know what kind of new ideas are going to really work there. But what I'm going to focus on today is yet another piece, which is taking new technologies to new markets, where the risk is double. You don't know whether the technology will work or not, and you don't know whether this technology will be accepted by this market or not. So both the risks are there, and that is the piece which I would refer to as the transformational innovation piece. This is where the growth is. If you're talking about future growth, it's about your ability to take intelligent risk, both in terms of understanding new market needs and also putting your bets on new technologies. Sure. Fine. I think we'd skip this just to say that whatever I say is you need to understand the perspective from where I come from. So I'm basically a physicist and a scientist. I'm not an IP expert, or I'm not an automotive expert, and I currently in the role of technology planning and innovation for Cummins, which means looking at future, predicting which of those technologies which are going to become important for Cummins, and making sure that we reach there. Prior to Cummins, I did work for Honeywell as innovation leader for emerging markets, and also GE. GE, I spent about a decade with GE. That's where I picked up most of my IP knowledge. I have a few patents, translated these to new products, but my passion is actually about designing and teaching management of technology and innovation, which I do at a few IITs and IIC and a couple of management schools. That's my background. And the kind of the way I have structured today's interaction is to talk a bit about the innovation strategy, talk about specific technology trends in the space, and also talk about what kind of strategy and how to bring all the strategies together. The IP, the innovation, and the technology, all three. And this is something that we did talk about, where I said my focus would be on taking new technologies to new markets, which I fondly refer to as the transformational innovation. Typically, the efforts in this particular space is less than 10% currently in most companies that I'm familiar with. But even if we can improve it from 10 to 20%, it's going to be a big jump. It's going to yield very big dividends, because more than 80% of the future growth is going to come from the small segment that you see out here, which is all about new technologies and new markets. And to really understand this future, it's not easy. It's not a guess game. It's not about predicting and forecasting, but it's actually about objectively keeping track of what's happening, what is shaping up the future. So to do this, I just picked up 6 key drivers. Typically, I used to look at only the technology driver, but over time I learned that technology is just one of the multiple forces that really shape up. But there are a few other things I picked up: infrastructure, the economics, the environment, the government in terms of the regulations and policies that come in, and also the technology piece along with the competition, which becomes important, and finally the society, where the cultural and the societal aspects come in. So if you're able to look at all these 6 drivers, you'll be able to really predict what is going to happen, which technologies are going to really dominate the future. So picked up a few things which are going to really be very key for commercial automotive space, and then came out that 4 things are going to be very critical, both globally and also for India. So, and most of my innovation and IP strategy work was focused on these 4 specific areas that you see out here. One is the powertrains of the future. The second is connectivity. Connectivity in the sense the vehicles are connected to each other. The vehicles are connected to a central smart intelligent system. So it's going beyond just an autonomous vehicle or a driverless car. Connectivity can bring in a lot more value. And we do see very strong prospects for connectivity playing a very key role as a technology enabler in high growth regions and emerging markets. It's not just for the developed markets. We do see a lot of value creation opportunities out here. Third important thing after connectivity comes advanced materials and manufacturing, 3D printing has got a very big role to play in the way the manufacturing is going to shape up in the automotive domain. And we started in a small way, specific components like the fuel injector systems and stuff like that. But now we see that there is a lot more scope than what we imagined to begin with. So 3D printing and additive manufacturing technologies are going to totally revolutionize the way the manufacturing sector is going to work within the automotive domain. And last but not the least, for many years the focus from the customers has been on initial cost. Now there is a significant shift to a total cost. People are no longer biased by just the initial cost of what we sell. People are able to understand the importance of the total cost. So these are the 4 key drivers which are actually shaping up the technologies in the space. And I just use this framework to analyze each of these 4 technologies that I talked about, but I will not really get into the details. But what I would like to say is these 4 technologies is where you will see a lot of IP creation happening in the next 10 years time frame. Connectivity, yes, that will bring in a lot of ideas beyond the automotive domain into automotive domain, and it's going to bring convergence of multiple industries. Connectivity is going to be a key driver. And advanced materials and manufacturing is again where you would see a lot of IP creation happening. And the integration of materials and manufacturing, where people come up with materials which are compatible for 3D printing and additive manufacturing techniques, is going to be an emerging field for IP creation. So if we look at the innovation and IP trends related to this, one is clearly the increasing activity in open innovation. And you would see more and more automotive related challenges being posed in 9 Sigma and Innocentive. And you also see a lot of innovation partners like IDEO and Intellectual Ventures, many things being very active in India in the last couple of years now. And IP sharing models, just like Tesla has put up its patents out in the public domain, there are many others following. And we do see the most recent last week from Toyota too, a whole bunch of patents on the fuel cells which is being put up. And I've been seeing, attending some of these IP auctions, the Ocean Tomo stuff, and I do see more and more of automotive related technologies coming up and plenty of technology licensing in and licensing out happening during these sessions. And I do see a very significant rise in this activity. And people are not just talking about owning, they are open to licensing in so that the new product development cycle is fairly fast. And from here onwards, I'm just going to quickly touch upon the 3 aspects of the technology strategy, the innovation strategy, and the IP strategy, and how to bring these 3 things together in this scenario. Of course, the need for having a strategy for IP rather than just being reactive. See, typically when somebody comes up with something cool, you go ahead and patent it. But the need for having a proactive IP strategy cannot be understated. There's just a few key steps that we typically adopt as a IP strategy framework at Cummins to make sure that we are able to really understand and address the needs of the future. It's fairly simple, straightforward. And this process involves, this is not limited to just the technology and R&D organization. It involves the marketing folks, the product planners. We also have a strategic marketing which looks beyond the needs of today, really looks ahead 5 years, 10 years. And most of these projects are co-owned by the technology and the marketing people. And they have equal responsibility for incubating this idea and taking it to the market. So we also created a very systematic process. It's just a 7-step process to actually visualize what the future scenario is going to be like. It's not again forecasting, it's not predicting, it's looking at multiple scenarios and identifying a few parameters to track and say which scenario is going to become a reality. It's a very objective way of looking at things. And in this process, we added an important dimension to it, which is the competition. We talked about the 6 forces. The 7th force is competition. Many times what the competition does or does not do kind of changes the entire strategy that we have. We have a strategy based on our analysis. Competition comes in and does something else. Then we have to quickly relook at the strategy and quickly respond to it. So that's it again very important. a seventh force that comes into shaping the future of innovation and IP creation. And one of the things that I had taken for analysis and a presentation of a case here was actually the climate control technologies, with all the interest in greenhouse gases and all the newer emissions regulations coming in. What would be the new technologies, and what would be, where would really the IP get created here? But all we did was looked at the situation today and tried to predict 2025, 10 years ahead, what is going to change, what kind of technologies are going to become important, and what would be the IP drivers in each of these cases. We identified at least about 8 distinct directions, and what kind of IP creation is going to happen in these 8, and kind of decided that the R&D would focus on these areas. And then it's not just about predicting what's future, but also having a path from where we are today, where we want to be, say 5 years and 10 years from now. So again, we created a 7-step process which will actually take you to where you want to be 10 years from now. This is again a cross-functional, a collaborative process. It's not just limited to the R&D and technology. But these 2 processes are being deployed across businesses and across the organization, both in India and globally, and we are able to really involve and get insights from a wide variety of people and have a very good, easy buy-in from all the key stakeholders, because the process is very structured and systematic. So I'm going to share these charts with you so you'll be able to take a look at it